There is a very specific, invisible weight that tends to settle on our shoulders around 4 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon. It is the quiet dread of the coming week, a feeling that we are hauling a heavy backpack up an endless hill. This exhaustion stems from a long-standing cultural paradigm. We have been conditioned to view life on Earth as a cosmic waiting room, a dark tunnel of endurance we must survive before finally reaching a post-death heaven. This outlook is rooted in a traditional reading of the Garden of Eden. It suggests that humanity fell into a trap, was cursed by a disappointed creator, and was subsequently evicted into a harsh wasteland. However, theologian Dr. Kim Youngdae points to a different possibility within the ancient texts. He asks us to consider if the apple was something other than a trap, and if we ever actually left the garden at all. These questions shift how we define the purpose of our daily existence. If the traditional rules of the Eden story are wrong, then we have spent our lives treating a potential playground like a prison. Let's examine the moment humanity allegedly lost paradise. The common image is one of violent, thunderous expulsion. Yet Genesis chapter 3 describes a much quieter scene immediately following the choice to eat the fruit. The text mentions God taking a late afternoon stroll through the garden. The environment remains intact, and the Creator is still calmly walking among the trees, seeking a conversation rather than an execution. The ensuing exile was highly specific. The humans weren't removed from the physical landscape of Eden. The text only records that the path to the tree of life was blocked. This served as a protective measure. If humanity had achieved immortality while still driven by ego and fear, they would have been locked into a state of spiritual narcissism forever. Finite life was a boundary introduced to preserve the possibility of growth. Humanity entered a restricted, regulated phase of the garden. We are living inside a protected cosmic tutorial, a safe environment where the consequences of our choices can eventually lead us toward maturity. To see why this tutorial requires a choice, imagine you are a programmer building a companion robot for the elderly. You program the machine so it is physically incapable of leaving or expressing anything but affection. You would quickly realize that the robot's behavior isn't love. Authentic relationship and genuine choice can only exist when there is a real, accessible alternative to reject them. This is why the tree of knowledge existed. The original command permitted access to 99.999% of the trees in the garden. That single restricted point, that 0.001%, provided the necessary proof that human freedom was real. This tree functioned like a barbell in a gym. It wasn't a trap designed to trigger punishment. It was a source of resistance. Without a point of friction to choose against, the soul has no way to develop its own strength. Facing the weight of that choice marked the transition from spiritual infancy into the complex responsibilities of adulthood. We moved from being passive inhabitants to active, deciding players. The physical players in this game carry a staggering history. The carbon, oxygen, and iron in your blood were forged inside the cores of dying stars over billions of years of cosmic expansion. Astronomer Carl Sagan famously reminded us that we are literally made of star stuff. We are the universe finally becoming aware of itself. Inside this biological frame sits what theologians call the divine fragment, the conscious breath of God that allows us to observe our own instincts and make a new choice. Physics tells us the universe is still expanding, which suggests that the work of creation is still in progress. On this cosmic clock, we are still living within the active sixth day, navigating a world being built even as we walk through it. If the day of creation is still ongoing, then Eden is expanding with the universe. The game didn't end in the past. It is live right now. Jesus often spoke of heaven in the perfect tense. This implies that for those who follow the path of love, heaven is a reality they have already crossed into, rather than a destination they must wait to reach after death. This perspective redefines our surroundings. If the garden is an expanding reality, then its current coordinates include your office cubicle, your kitchen, and your daily commute. Mundane frustrations, the difficult boss, the crying toddler, or the endless spreadsheet, provide the specific barbells of free will for your day. These moments are the exact friction points where the game is played. Choosing patience over ego or love over fear in these small instances is the mechanism by which the soul matures. Each choice is an opportunity to level up within the expansion of Eden. You are not a cursed exile surviving a waiting room. You are a fragment of the divine, playing the Eden game in a universe designed for your growth. Welcome to the playground.